Alright, so this is test number 2, review B. So I'll just go through all the problems. Number 1, you're solving for x, right? So you want to isolate the x. You want to leave it by itself. So you subtract 5 from both sides of the equation. That's a 0. And so you have negative 2/3 x equals negative 9. So this here means negative 2/3 times x. So how you isolate the x in this case is you divide by negative 2/3 on both sides. When you divide by a fraction, it's the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So I'm going to take negative 2/3 and multiply by its reciprocal on both sides. Okay, so on the left side, negative 3/2 times negative 2/3, this equals 1. So I have x equals negative 9. Remember, you put a 1 underneath the negative 9, so then you multiply across. So negative 9 times negative 3 is 27. 1 times 2 is 2. So x is 27 over 2. Alright, number 2. You can distribute the 1/3. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and do that. So remember, we put 1 underneath the 6 and the 12. And then we're going to distribute 1/3 times 6 over 1 and 1/3 times negative 12 over 1. So right here, 1/3 times 6 over 1 is 6 over 3. 6 over 3 is 2. So here we have 2x. And then 1 over 3 times 12 over 1 is 12 over 3. And 12 over 3 is 4. So then we have negative 4. That equals 15. So now we add 4 to both sides. And so we have 2x equals 19. Divide by 2 on both sides. And so x equals 19/2. Okay, number 3. I have x's on both sides and integers on both sides, so I'm going to move the x's to make sure x's are on one side and the constants on the other. So I'm going to add x. So I have 5x minus 3 equals 2, right? Because x minus x is 0. So now I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And I have 5x, this is 0, equals 5. Then we divide by 5 on both sides to isolate the x. So then I have x equals 1. Okay. Number 4. I'm going to distribute the negative 5 here and here. So that gives me negative 5x plus 5, because negative times negative is positive, plus 3x equals 11. So remember, we always try to combine like terms on the same side of the equation. So right here, negative 5x and 3x, that's negative 2x plus 5 equals 11. So again, the goal is to isolate the x, leave it by itself. So I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. So now I have negative 2x equals 6. We're going to divide by negative 2 on both sides. And so x is negative 3. Alright, so for number 5, we have x's on both sides and distributive property, right? So we're going to distribute the 1/2 here and here, and then the 3 here and here. So 1/2 times 4 is half of 4. 1/2 of 4 is 2. So this is 2x. And then half of negative 6 is negative 3. On the right side, 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 4 is 12. Okay? I'll subtract 2x from both sides to bring the x's over to the right side. And I'll subtract 12 from both sides. So I've got negative 3 and negative 12 is negative 15 equals 3x minus 2x, which is 1x, or x. So then we have x equals negative 15. Number 6, I've got distributive property right here. Now notice the 2 has a negative in front, so we're going to distribute that negative along with the 2. So you have 5, and then negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times positive 3 is negative 6. Negative 10 minus x. So right here on the left side, I can combine the 5 and the negative 6. So that gives me negative 1 minus 2x equals negative 10 minus x. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. And so that gives you negative 1 on the left minus 10. And then 2x minus 1x is x, so plus x. And then I'm going to add 10 on both sides to isolate the x on the right side. So I get 10 minus 1, that's 9. So x equals 9. Alright, so number 7, we're converting 7 and 8. We're converting, so it says convert 500 US dollars to a euro. So I have 500 US dollars. And 1 US dollar is 0.89 euros. So I'll just put E for euros. So here we see that US dollar and US dollar cancel out. And so we multiply 500 times 0.89. So you put that into the calculator, 500 times 0.89, and you get 445 euros. For the next one, converting 500 US dollars to pesos, 1 US dollar is 17 pesos. So same thing here, we're going to put 500 US dollars here. That's what we're starting with. And so 1 US dollar is 17 pesos. I'll put P for pesos. And so we see that US dollar cancels, and we are left with 500 times 17 to get the number of pesos. So when you do that, you get 0, 0, 7 times 5, 35, 8. So 8,500 pesos. Alright, so for number 9, we're calculating the total cost of a new phone. It starts off at $650, that's the price of the phone, and then we have to add a 9% sales tax. So that means 9 cents for every dollar that you pay for the item. So we have $650, that's the price of the phone, and then for every dollar we're going to pay 9 cents. So 9 cents per dollar. So that'd be times 650. So you put that in the calculator, you get 650 plus 58.50. Add the two together, and you get $708.50. So that's the total cost of the phone. Okay, for number 10, the sales tax is 9%. What would be the total cost if you purchase a pair of Adidas shoes for $75? So the setup is the same as number 9. So it's going to be $75 for the shoes plus 9 cents for every dollar that you pay. So 0.09 times 75, that's going to be $6.75. Plus 75. So that's going to be a total of $81.75 for the pair of shoes.